Interestingly, it's pouring in Hyderabad. It's raining cats and dogs, literally. So that's one. So we're quite happy, I guess. A well-needed respite from the heat. So my topic is something that I do, and it's actually a pretty simple way to transfer all our heavy carbon-based, book-based kind of learning and research into an online system, which all of us have been, thanks to the pandemic, become very, very familiar with. So I'm going to take you through many of these things you know. So pardon me if it's something that you already know, but I'm going to take you through a few interesting concepts that I thought is worthwhile to share. What is e-learning? It's not just simply attending webinars. That is not e-learning. It's actually e-learning is a formalized learning system. And it's a very systematic, network enabled. So it could be either the internet itself or an intranet within the organization, or say companies, they use, companies actually sort of sell this course. And this is a network enabled transfer of skills and knowledge and application. And of course, one thing I would say that at the end of it, e-learning is, well, according to me, it's not a substitute for the classroom teaching that we have. But especially in times like today, when we don't really have a physical classroom, I think this is the closest, e-learning is the closest that comes to it, and we can use it to advantage. So it is internet-based or cloud-based, as I mentioned, and we can use our computers, we can use our cell phones and many other devices in order to get into it. So the e-learning could be one-on-one. So you could be taking a class where there's only one person who's mentoring you or coaching you. It could be a classroom where a lot of people get together and log in into that network. Or it could be modules where you sit at home and go through the entire module and do that exercise. So I'm going to take you through the Zoom boom, which I call. Well, we knew about the Zoom platform. We were using it a little bit earlier than the pandemic. And I guess now in the pandemic, there's nobody who doesn't know one. You know COVID, and you also know Zoom just as well. And I'd just like to take you through one of the models that we have as e-learning. So we have Eco Clinic, which is a great e-learning platform. What is Eco Clinic will be in this video.
Project ECHO, delivering specialist medical knowledge to regions most in need. It spreads new medical knowledge from specialist hospitals and academic institutions to district hospitals, community health centers, primary health centers, and sub-centers. Rather than medical expertise residing in specialist hospitals or academic institutions, healthcare providers learn from specialists. They learn from each other, and specialists learn from healthcare providers as new best practices emerge. Under the ECHO model, healthcare professionals participate in case-based learning with expert mentors. They acquire new skills that allow them to treat patients that would otherwise need to be referred home. Patients with chronic, complex conditions get high-quality care closer to their home from providers they know and trust. No waiting months to see a specialist. No stressing over getting the right medical aid. No long trips back and forth to hospitals. No spending money on tedious travels. Project ECHO, revolutionizing medical care and education in India. Are you part of the ECHO? Project ECHO.
So that was about ECHO in general, but how we use it is that we use it at the Cornea Institute. We've been starting in 2017, and this is how ECHO Clinic runs, ECHO Cornea. We have various other organizations joining us. We have Shroff Institute, we have our secondary center at Adilabad, we have Mudhol, which is another secondary center. And all of these people get together, and they present their cases or we do ours. So this is the reach of microbial keratitis ECHO that we started. We also did ECHO for topography, where everybody would share their cases and we would take opinions and something like this, whether to operate or not. And then we also have keratoplasty clinics. And one of the very, very good module is the ECHO resident clinic. So this is a network which is started by my colleague, Dr. Arvind Roy. He heads this project, and it has been very successful with far-reaching clinics which we have, or the residents join. So resident teaching is a very important teaching, I think, because they have fewer resources and have had fewer classroom teaching in the past 1 year. So I'm going to take you through exactly how we do, apart from ECHO, how we do the resident teaching online. So this is called the flipped classroom system. So we send them course material, we share the presentation, and we also send them a set of MCQs. And at the actual hour that is allotted to us, one of the students just does a brief presentation followed by discussion. So I'll show you in real time, or at least I'll show you the background of flipped classroom teaching I'm going to take you through one of the assignments that I had was to take a lecture on immune-mediated scleritis for my residents this month. So my homework was first to prepare the presentation, but instead of giving the presentation, so what I do is I prepare it ahead of time. The next thing that I do is to go ahead and share the presentation as well as a lot of post material, which included some book chapters and some online resources as well as review articles on the subject to the residents. So a couple of days after that, what I do is I then just go ahead and prepare a quiz, which is very simple to do on Google Forms. And this quiz would kind of cover the syllabus that I had sent to them earlier and kind of assess or gauge how much they've understood the topic. Also include some clinical photographs from patients, so it makes it more interesting to them. So once the resident answers all the questions in the quiz and submits it, the next thing that I can do is that the entire document would come to me as a report. And in this report, I can see that who are the residents who have scored not as well, and some residents have scored pretty well, and the average would be around about 15 or 16 for this entire group. So when in the 1 hour that I actually spend with the residents during the time that I have to discuss the topic, we can go through all these points and all the problems that they couldn't understand. So this kind of flipped classroom teaching using e-resources, it makes teaching very fruitful and engaging to the students. So flipped. So coming to the second topic, that was e-research. Madhukar, I'm sorry, I'm going to take 1 minute extra perhaps. And compared to earlier days when we used to, even now, even till recently, our library used to be full of actually physical printed books. And we would go in and we'd ask them, we want copies of this article and that article. Sometimes I remember our librarian used to print out 10, 20 articles and how much paper we wasted in those days. So compared to that, there are so many other resources now online to get through these. It's just a list. It's not comprehensive. It's a list of where you can get a lot of resources online if you're doing research. And the top 2 search engines I always use is PubMed and Google Scholar. And I'm going to take you through how I do it in real time. And this is a video which is slightly going to exceed my time, so forgive me for that. So I'm going to take you through 2 search engines and actually search something very specific. So let's say that today I saw a case in the clinic. This was a case of brittle cornea syndrome. And this is a very rare case, so I thought I should look up more about it. And I typed brittle cornea syndrome. So in Google Scholar, it'll just about list everything. So I actually want something that is more recent. So I go to the filter since 2017, and this is a case that pops up. So I can open up the case, I can take a look at it. Maybe it's something similar to the case I saw. So this is BMC journal, which has free access. So I know that I can see the entire report and maybe get some idea about how to treat my patient. So Google Scholar also has many other things that you can do. You can cite this in several ways. So it'll immediately bring out the citation in several formats, which you can either download to any of your reference management softwares, or you can also simply copy paste the same thing and paste it directly onto your Word document, especially if you're writing a case report and you need just about say 10 references in there. So you can do that directly as well. The other thing about Google Scholar is that you can also maintain your profile in Google Scholar. So it's pretty accurate. It can list all your articles by year-wise or citation-wise, and it can also tell you what's happened to your latest article and also which year were you doing very well and so on. So a lot of statistics and data for you. You can explore this. Of course, with Google Scholar, you won't have articles which are ahead of print, and you will only have the ones that are clearly published on them. So how does PubMed do in comparison? So let's say, same case, I want to look at brittle cornea syndrome, want to know more about it. So I go to PubMed, and the search engine is so fast that you don't even have to type search, it automatically assumes it. And in fact, it sends you many results. It tells you how many results it has, and then the first one is the same that typed up earlier because it was a free online article. Many of them are free PMC, so PMC is PubMed Central, so many of them will pop up and you can see the free article.
So this also tells you that in which year you're likely to have more articles. Here in 2019, there were quite a few. And in addition, it can give you many other things, the abstract, full free text or the full text and so on. So PubMed is again extremely powerful tool. It has just about all the possible medical journals in its database, and it's updated all the time, includes ahead of print article. Google Scholar is once again uses a Google engine, search engine, which is a very powerful search engine. And the only thing is that it also has a lot of non-peer reviewed stuff going on in it. So both of them are pretty useful. So
that's all I had, Madhukar. Hope it was useful. Thank you.